Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another Stock Kings YouTube video. And today we're going to be going over Senseonics Holdings Inc., ticker symbol SENS. We're going to be going over their Q4 earnings and their full year 2020 financial results that actually came out on March 4th. So a couple of days ago, this came out. I know I'm a little late on that, but we're going to keep you guys up to date on what's going on and why this stock has been increasing so much as of recently. Yesterday, we went up about 8%. So we're going to be going over why this stock has been going up so quickly recently. And we're also going to give my price prediction, and we're going to be doing some technical analysis so you guys can know when to get in and how you can play this stock moving forward. But before we get into any of that, I want you guys to go ahead, give a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you know whenever we come out with a new video. And I also love how much support I've been getting on this channel recently, guys. You guys have been great. I'm so appreciative of that. But I also have my Instagram link down below if you'd be interested in that as well. So moving forward, let's get right into this chart here on Senseonics on the daily. In the past for price action, we kind of have a big run up consolidation. We kind of bounce back and forth here in this zone. And then we have a pretty big run up to our peak, I would say around 550, 557. And then we kind of follow the recent market trend coming down. We even get a cross, but we wick down below this 50 EMA, and then it seems like we kind of respect it, the candle just kind of sticking right to it, and then we kind of have a nice bounce off this 50. We have a nice little rejection to the upside as we keep increasing all the way up to 332. So if you did get a chance to get in, at the around the low, anything below $2, really, you're looking at some pretty nice gains here on SENS. But let's get right into this kind of earnings news back on March 4th. So Senseonics earnings per share misses by 34 cents, but it beats on revenue. So unfortunately for Senseonics, their earnings per share missed expectations by about 34%, which is a pretty big miss for them, I think. They were at a loss of around 41%, expected around a loss around 7 cents. So that's a pretty big miss. However, they did beat revenue, which is also way down for the year. But obviously, 2020 is going to be a lot different year than 2021 or 2019 for a lot of these companies. But they did beat expectations by almost half a mil. And so the net revenue to Senseonics for full year 2021 is expected to be in the range of around 12 million to around 15 million. Consensus for most analysts in the $13 million mark. But let's get into Senseonics and their actual release on their website. Let's see what they have to say as well about this. So we have their recent highlights and accomplishments. They generated fourth quarter 2020 revenue of 3.9 million, primarily driven by orders to support the European installed base up to the Essentia diabetes care commercial transition. So most of this revenue was actually outside of the United States. I think only about zero point 0.4 million, around $400,000 of their revenue actually came from inside to the United States. So that's something to note, that most of their revenue is actually coming from Europe, not the United States. But a big key factor here is they've raised 175 million of proceeds from equity offerings in the first quarter of 2021 to strengthen the balance sheet. And there was actually a lot of questions about Senseonics as a going concern, which means is a lot of people were questioning if they could continue their operations as a company. They were not sure if they could keep going on moving forward. However, with the raise of this capital, the 175 million, that kind of erased all doubts of going concern, and they now have a lot of cash. They now have a lot of liquidity moving forward in this company, which is a great thing for investors, potential investors, if you're not in this already. To see that they have a lot of cash on hand. This just kind of shows that they have money to spend moving forward if they need to. They can definitely reinvest some of that money into the company to continue their operations and also improve operations if they need to. So them actually having this $175 million in cash is a great sign for this company moving forward, in my opinion. But something I also wanted to note was they reduced fourth quarter operating expenses by around 13.8 million compared to the prior year period, resulting from the execution of strategic cost reductions and the streamlined operational focus. So this kind of shows management definitely focusing on reducing their operating expenses, which is a great step forward to being profitable as a company. I talk about this a lot. A lot of these high growth companies, they can definitely bump revenues. Their revenues are always increasing. However, it's always good to know if management can actually reduce their operating expenses, because a big thing about becoming profitable is increasing those revenues, but you also need to reduce any wasted expenses. And reducing expenses by 13, almost $14 million is a huge reduction, I think, for operating expenses moving forward for Senseonics. But let's kind of take a look here at what the CEO has to say. So we are very pleased with our fourth quarter results, our commercial collaboration agreement with Essentia, and the success of our recent financings. So that's kind of talking about the $175 million that they brought in. These steps conclude a strategically transformed year for Senseonics, says Tim Goodnow, which is the president and CEO. We believe Essentia's commercial experience and global footprint will help grow the market for Eversense in 2021 and beyond. We are working with Essentia to further expand commercial activity in the coming months. Those collaborative efforts include developing plans for new programs designed to raise patient and provider awareness, reduce patient costs, and continually expand global access for Eversense. So it's looking like they are definitely focusing on the global aspect of their business as well, expanding to new markets, developing new plans and programs for these patients. They're definitely looking to other areas to kind of run their business in, which is a good thing to note for Senseonics. But let's go back to the chart on Senseonics. Let's kind of get into some chart analysis, my favorite thing to do. As you can see here, we definitely created a excellent support here on this 50 EMA. I think that is a good area to know as a support on a daily chart. If you were looking for this long term, we'll be using the daily chart. And I also think a key area of resistance is going to be right around this area. And I say this because price action came up to here 2 times, and this also used it as a support once it did break past multiple times. You can see it coming up to here again with these bearish candles for those beginning, but I think it could definitely come up to this area again. It looks like we did not get any wick on this bullish candle from yesterday on Thursday. And then it looks like we are going to probably get a little rejection off this big increase. So what a candle or a candle wick does is that it's kind of like a breadcrumb to show where the candle can go next. So it looks like this daily candle kind of came up, filled this wick actually, but it did not leave a wick itself. So it didn't leave anywhere for itself to go moving forward, which is why I'm guessing we're seeing a little bit of a pre-market decrease, probably just a little liquidity grab since we had such a big increase as of yesterday. People are kind of taking their money a little bit, but if you are long term on this stock, you're willing to kind of live through those little spikes down. So we're looking at a 320 here in the pre-market. However, it is a little early. We have about an hour and a half until market open. But the next area, key area I kind of want to point out, probably around right here, you can see this kind of wick up into this area, and also this candle rejected off this area as well. So if we do come out of this resistance here, you can expect the next resistance to be around 437. So our first price target is going to be around 373 for this stock. That's when you'll be taking your first partial if you're long term. Your second partial here around 438 to make sure you are taking in those gains along the way. And then our final price target will be at the peak of the price, 557. So you'll be taking it assuming we get a good confirmation to come up around here, 372 long term, 438, and 557. Just make sure you're taking partials out of your position along the way. Make sure you're taking gains. You're definitely putting money into this stock. You might as well take some money along the way, as I always say. It's just good to it's good for your mindset to keep taking money out. It kind of just gives you some relief, knowing what you're doing is going well for you. But that does not mean you have to take your full position at my highest resistance line. If you are long term, you see this stock going, all the way to $100. That definitely does not mean that you have to take your full position out here. I would definitely leave some room for this to grow. I'm just saying this is where you would start taking your partial profits to make sure you're, taking your money when you can. But let's get into a little shorter term here on the 30-minute. We can see our two daily resistance lines here. But I want to kind of point out here, if you're not in the stock already, I would definitely look for a break here, and even possibly a break of the 200, because I definitely see this as a problem area. As the 200 is coming down, we are trading below the 200. That's definitely a sign of bearish momentum. So it's definitely going to be a trouble area around this resistance when this 200 kind of hits this resistance line here. It'll be tricky to see if this does actually break above the 200. If we do get a break above the 200, that is when you would definitely be taking a buy. That is definitely a sign of bullish momentum. And then we'll probably use right here as our next level of support. If price does decide to come back down and test this support, we will then be noting this as a key area around 292, because if we do get a break below, we'll be expecting it to come back down probably to around, let's just say our next daily resistance around 247. So anywhere around this zone, we'll be watching. But if it does reject off this support, we would then be taking it back up to the resistance of 337. Be noting if it does break above the 200 EMA, and then we have our next kind of line here. So let's kind of chart this out, expecting this stock to come back down today off this 292. If we do get a good rejection off this support, we'll then be taking it up here to our then resistance at 337. Which is a very, very key area. I would definitely recommend, as soon as it gets to this area, taking some of your position out, take some partial profits here, reduce your exposure, reduce your risk. And we have our risk right below this support, just in case if it does go the opposite direction, stops going our way. We want to be out of this. We do not want to risk any more money. If it's going to be in some bullish momentum, we want to be out of the stock at that point. However, if we do get a close above this 200 EMA, we will then be moving our price targets up here to 373 to our next resistance, be moving price here. And then as you can see here, we have a huge stop loss, huge risk. If it does decide to come back down, we could end up losing money, guys. And that is what you do not want to do. So I definitely recommend moving your stop loss, trailing your stop loss, as a way to continuously reduce your risk and ensure that you are making those profits, you're maxing out those profits. So then we have our next kind of zone up here at 438. So then you could continue, if price does end up closing above this as well, you can then do the same kind of process, move up this price target to here. Price would then be at 337. And then we would then move our stop loss again. Guys, trail your stop loss, ensure those profits, make sure you are ensuring your gains. You do not want to go into any sort of drawdown when you're already in profits. So I always trail my stop loss. And just a tip, you do not have to wait until it hits your price target to move your stop loss up. For example, if we are trading here, if we do break above this and we are actually trading in this area right here, this is still a massive stop loss. So if you guys really want to, you could move it up to here, make sure it doesn't close back down into, below your then created support. Once it breaks it past this resistance, this becomes a support line. So make sure, you're continuously moving your stop loss. You're always adjusting your trades, making sure they're perfect and that you're getting the most out of them. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found some value in it. If you like this video, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you know whenever we're coming out with a new video. And I also have my Instagram link down below if you would be interested in that. But as always, guys, I hope you guys have an excellent day, get some gains in the market, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.